Imagine this. You're at the biggest charity gala of the year, heart-pounding, wearing the only suit you own. The one that's seen better days, and the most stunning woman in the room looks you dead in the eyes and snaps, "Take off that cheap suit." Before storming away, what would you do? Would you shrink back, or would you let the moment change everything? Stick around, because this is the story of how one painful misunderstanding led to the deepest love I've ever known. If you've ever been judged by how you look, or felt invisible despite everything you've overcome, this one's for you. Hit that like button right now if you're ready for an emotional ride, and subscribe for more real-life stories that remind us what truly matters. My name is Alex Rivera, and that night, I stood frozen under the glittering chandeliers of the grand ballroom, the weight of her words hitting me like a punch to the chest. The suit wasn't just cheap, it was threadbare at the elbows, a hand-me-down from my late father that I'd worn to every important moment since college. I hadn't bought anything new in years. Not because I couldn't, but because I chose not to. But she didn't know that. No one did. Sarah Kensington was the kind of woman who turned heads without trying. Tall, with sharp green eyes that seemed to see right through people, and a confidence that came from years of building her family's nonprofit from the ground up. She was passionate about helping underprivileged kids find pathways out of poverty through education and mentorship. I'd admired her from afar for months, reading about her work in local papers and quietly donating what I could from my own modest salary as a community center coordinator. That night, I'd come to the gala not as a guest of honor, but as a volunteer organizer. My team had worked tirelessly to make the event a success, pairing donors with kids who needed sponsors. I was there in the background, making sure everything ran smoothly, my cheap suit hidden under a volunteer badge. But when the main speaker canceled last minute, they pushed me onto the stage to fill in. I spoke from the heart, about my own childhood in a rundown neighborhood, about losing my dad to illness because we couldn't afford proper care, about how one mentor changed my life by believing in me when no one else did. The crowd applauded, but Sarah, she was standing near the front, arms crossed, her face a mask of disbelief. After my speech, I approached her during the mingling hour, mustering the courage to introduce myself properly. "Hi, I'm Alex. I've followed your work for a long time. What you're doing for those kids, it's incredible." She glanced at my suit, then back at my face, her lips pressing into a thin line. "Look, I appreciate the effort, but this is a professional event. Take off that cheap suit and stop pretending you belong here. We need real supporters, not whatever this is." Her voice was sharp, laced with exhaustion from dealing with too many posers and opportunists. She turned on her heel and walked away, leaving me standing there with my heart in pieces. I didn't chase her. Instead, I went back to work, helping load boxes of school supplies into vans for the morning deliveries. The humiliation burned, but it wasn't new. Life had taught me early that appearances could close doors faster than anything. After my dad's death, Mom and I scraped by on her waitress salary. I worked nights through high school, scholarships got me through college, and I built a career helping others climb out of the same hole. But success for me wasn't flashy cars or tailored suits. It was the quiet kind, the kind that let me secretly fund scholarships and community programs without anyone knowing. The next few weeks were a blur of challenges. The community center where I worked was facing closure due to funding cuts. Kids were counting on our after-school programs, single parents relied on our job training workshops. I spent late nights writing grants, calling donors, even dipping into my own savings, the ones I'd built quietly over years of living frugally. Unknown to almost everyone, those modest savings had grown into something substantial through smart, anonymous investments in a tech startup I'd co-founded in college that sold for more than I'd ever dreamed. But I kept it hidden. Flashy wealth felt wrong after seeing how money had corrupted people around me. Sarah's words lingered, though. They pushed me to reflect. Was I hiding too much? Was my humility actually pride in disguise? I threw myself deeper into the work, organizing a massive fundraiser at the center itself. No galas, no glamour, just kids performing skits, parents sharing stories, and local businesses donating time and resources. I wore my usual jeans and faded polo, sleeves rolled up, sweat on my brow as I helped set up tables. That's when Sarah showed up again. She'd heard about the event through mutual connections in the nonprofit world and came to scout for potential partnerships. I saw her across the crowded gym, her elegant coat standing out amid the chaos of laughing children and folding chairs. Our eyes met, and for a second, I thought she'd turn away. Instead, she walked over, her expression softer this time. "Alex, right," she said quietly. I owe you an apology. I saw the video of your speech online. It wasn't what I expected." We talked then, really talked, as volunteers served punch and kids tugged at our sleeves. She shared her own struggles, how her family's wealth had come with expectations that nearly broke her. Her father had pushed her into a corporate life she hated, and after his passing, she'd fought to redirect the family fortune toward real change. But the pressure to maintain appearances, to only associate with the right people, had made her judgmental, quick to dismiss anyone who didn't fit the mold. Our connection sparked slowly, like embers catching flame. Over the next months, we faced challenges together. The community center's funding crisis hit its peak when a major donor pulled out at the last minute. Sarah stepped in, using her network, but it wasn't enough. Late one night, as we sat in the empty center going over spreadsheets by flashlight after a power flicker, she broke down. "I've failed these kids before I even started," she whispered, tears streaming. "All my talk, and I can't even keep one program alive." I couldn't stay silent anymore. I took her hand and told her the truth, not the whole fortune, but enough. "Sarah, I've been where these kids are. I know what it's like to feel invisible. That's why I live the way I do. The suit, it reminds me of my dad, of where I came from. But I've built something more. Let me help. Not as a donor, but as a partner." I revealed just enough. The startup exit, the anonymous funds that had already supported dozens of programs like ours. Her eyes widened in shock, then filled with something deeper, regret, admiration, and a vulnerability I'd never seen. "Why didn't you say anything? At the gala, I was horrible to you." Her voice cracked. I smiled gently. "Because who I am isn't in the suit. It's in the work, and I wanted you to see me, not the money." The resolution didn't come overnight. There were more hurdles. Skeptical board members who questioned my sudden involvement, media leaks that tried to paint me as a secret millionaire playing hero, even Sarah's own doubts about whether she could trust her heart after being burned by status chasers before. We argued one rainy evening in her office, her snapping again, not about clothes this time, but about walls. "You've hidden so much, Alex. How do I know this is real?" I pulled out old photos from my wallet, me as a kid in that same suit at my dad's funeral, mom hugging me tight. "This is real," I said. "The struggles, the losses, the choice to live simply. And you're real too. The woman who fights for kids even when it's exhausting." Through it all, love grew. We volunteered side by side, painting classrooms, mentoring teenagers who reminded us of our younger selves. Sarah learned to let go of the armor her upbringing had built. I learned to step into the light a little more, to let people see the resources I could offer without fear of changing who I was. The center didn't just survive, it thrived. We launched a new scholarship program named after my dad, fully funded and focused on first-generation students. 1 year after that fateful gala, I stood on a small stage at the center's anniversary event, this time in a new suit, still modest, but chosen with care. Sarah was beside me, her hand in mine. I judged him by his appearance, she told the crowd, her voice steady and emotional. But he taught me that real worth isn't in what we wear or what we show the world. It's in the quiet choices, the hidden strengths, and the love we give without expecting applause. As the audience clapped, kids rushed up with handmade cards, I looked at her and felt the full circle. The pain of that night had cracked open something beautiful. We'd both been broken by life in different ways, her by expectation and isolation, me by loss and invisibility, but together, we built something stronger. If there's one message from this story, it's this: never let someone's outward appearance, or your own fears, stop you from seeing the heart beneath. We all carry suits that don't fit right sometimes, whether they're cheap or designer. What matters is who we choose to be when no one's watching. The world needs more people who show up authentically, who judge less and love more deeply. Who fight for those who feel unseen. Hey, if this story touched you, if it reminded you of your own journey or inspired you to look a little closer at the people around you, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next heartfelt tale. Share it with someone who needs to hear that their cheap suit moment might just be the beginning of something incredible. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Thank you for being here. Let's keep lifting each other up. Until next time, keep showing up as you are. The world needs the real you.